Here is a brief video in where I will describe to you the beautiful monument of Sachsenhain. A while back, I think it was the second video I had ever made, I made a video about the Massacre at Verden in the year 782 and how I thought this could have been a catalyst for the Viking Age. You will find, I'll leave a link to the video in the description box, or you may be able to see it right here on your screen. But I hope you enjoy it. Sit back, relax, and I will tell you a story about a beautiful monument that commemorates an often overlooked tragic event in Germanic history. So enjoy. Sachsenhain is a beautiful monument, a quaint monument that was built in the year 1935 by the National Socialists of Germany. It's a beautiful monument that reminds me of, to an extent, Stonehenge, or to the Carnac stones in France. The monument consists of 4,500 large boulders arranged in rows in the middle of a forest outside the town of Verden on the banks of the river Aller. Why did the Germans erect 4,500 large boulders, you may ask? The answer to this is it's a commemoration, a remembrance of the 4,500 lives that were lost in the year 782. Sachsenhain, in English, it means Saxon Grove. It is a commemoration of 4,500 Saxon pagans who were cruelly executed by the Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne in the year 782 AD. The Saxon Wars were the campaigns and insurrections of a 33-year period from the year 772, when Charlemagne first entered Saxony with the intent to conquer, to 804, when the last rebellion of disaffected tribesmen was crushed. In all, there were 18 violent, bloody campaigns, primarily in now what is northern Germany. This resulted in the incorporation of Saxony into the Frankish Empire and the forcible conversion from Germanic paganism to Catholicism. The Saxon Wars reached a high point in the years between 772 and the years 782. In the year 772, Charlemagne destroyed the Irminsul, which was a holy, sacred pillar, and it was very important to the Saxon pagans. It was a holy site. Also, during this period of time, Charlemagne and his Frankish army cruelly destroyed many sacred groves that were very important to the Germanic pagans. As I said earlier, the Saxon Wars reached a feverish pitch in the year 782. This is when, in October of that year, when Charlemagne decided to round up a large tribe of Saxons, and near the confluence of the Aller and Weser rivers, Charlemagne gave the Saxons an option. He gave them the option to accept baptism in the river or to die by the sword. Some of the Saxons converted to Christianity there by the sword, but 4,500 refused it, refusing to abandon their old ways, their old gods. Charlemagne had these 4,500 executed. It's truly sad. Charlemagne and the Franks, of course, were a Germanic tribe, a Germanic people. They were the cousins of the Saxons. And it makes it even more disturbing and heartbreaking that he would order so many deaths to his cousins for refusing to abandon their old ways, their old religion, their old worldview of Germanic paganism. An entry for the year 782 in the first version of the Royal Frankish Annals, Annales Regni Francorum in Old French, records a Saxon rebellion followed by a Frankish victory in the Battle of Suntel. Before Charlemagne arrived and put down the rebellion, he ordered the execution of 4,500 Saxons near the confluence of the Aller and the Weser rivers, which is now in Verden. Regarding the massacre, the entry reads, "When he heard this, the Lord King Charles rushed to the place with all the Franks that he could gather on short notice, and advanced to where the Aller flows into the Weser. Then all the Saxons came together again, submitted to the authority of the Lord King, and surrendered the evildoers who were chiefly responsible for this revolt to be put to death, 4,500 of them." These are, of course, the 4,500 who refused Catholicism. The sentence was carried out. Widukind, who was a Saxon pagan leader, was not among them, since he had fled to Nordmania, another word for Denmark. When he had finished this business, the Lord King returned to Francia. Through most of the Middle Ages, and in the 16th and 17th centuries, contemporary historians generally approved of these executions at Verden as a sign of Charlemagne's piety. But it was during the Age of Enlightenment that this changed. The scholar Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz was one of the first to suggest that Verden cast a shadow over Charlemagne's legacy. The great philosopher Voltaire considered the king, the Holy Roman Emperor Charlemagne, a thousandfold murderer, with Verden as the centerpiece of his cruelty and malice and barbarism. Fast forward to 1933, with the rise of the National Socialists in Germany. Hermann Gausch, who was Heinrich Himmler's adjutant for culture, took the view that Charlemagne should be officially renamed Karl the Slaughterer because of the cruel massacre. He advocated a memorial to the victims. Alfred Rosenberg also stated that the Saxon leader Widukind, not Karl, should be called the Great. The massacre became a major topic of debate in the early days of the National Socialist Party in Germany. It was decided in 1934 that a large monument outside the town of Verden, possibly on the ground that the very executions took place, to be built, commemorating the 4,500 pagan Saxons who lost their lives. The monument was designed by the landscape architect Wilhelm Hubater. He was commissioned to build the Sachsenhain monument in Verden, and it consists of 4,500 large stones. This, I think, is a beautiful monument that is very quaint. It is in the forest, which of course was holy to all Germanic, all European pagans, and it is often overlooked, I believe. I only discovered this monument several months ago in my research. It is a beautiful place, and it resembles many throughout Europe. There's many examples of stone circles which were sacred to our pagan forebears. But this is just a little bit of information about a beautiful monument in Verden, Germany. I hope to travel there someday. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.